All right, so today we are going to be reading Wanda Pansuckle, Worst Babysitter Ever. Cruel, vicious, has no right to be around kids whatsoever, much less babysit them. Of course, I am speaking about Wanda Pansuckle, this loony, nutty, totally coconuts woman who nearly ruined my life. I could tell you about the 3 yellow warts on her nose. I could explain about her green breath. I could go on and on about how she had claws instead of fingernails, razor blades for teeth, and webbed feet. None of it would be true. Wanda Pansuckle appeared to be as polite, nice, and normal as any regular old lady could be. That's what made her so sinister. What she looked like on the outside and how she actually acted were totally opposite. Hello, I'm Wanda Pansuckle, quite pleased to make your acquaintance. Those were the lines this 600-year-old woman used to fool my parents into hiring her. Mom won a trip to Europe in a contest through our local supermarket, and Dad refused, as he clearly said to take our son, Benjamin, out of school. Not that I was disappointed, because traveling with people who were actually excited to walk through museums and go gaga over portraits painted by dead people sounded like the boringest vacation ever offered to a kid. I didn't want to travel for a gajillion hours on an airplane. I didn't want to eat food from menus written in languages I couldn't read. And I didn't want to stare at buildings and pretend that roofs and doors and window frames hammered together 500 years ago captivated my interest. And my parents didn't want to travel with a non-stop complainer. So we struck a deal. They would go away, and someone would stay with me for a week. Of course, whoever it was would have to be responsible. They would have to make sure I took care of all my responsibilities, and they would have to make absolutely certain I did everything my parents would have expected me to do. Let's just say it didn't quite work out that way. On day 1, Wanda Pansuckle let me go to school with chocolate on my face. After letting me eat chocolate chips covered in double fudge chocolate sauce dunked in chocolate milk for breakfast, I didn't need to gobble any fruit, I wasn't required to brush my teeth before I left the house, and I didn't even have to wear clean clothes or comb my hair. She just let me do whatever I wanted. And when I came home, it was more of the same. I didn't have to do my homework. I didn't have to clean up my plate. I didn't have to turn off the TV, stop playing video games, or go to bed on time. She let me do anything. This babysitter is weird, I told Mikey Lumpkin as we chatted in the school cafeteria on the second day of this. Mikey's lunch consisted of a turkey sandwich, a sliced apple, an organic fig bar, and a few non-fried sesame crisps. My bag, packed by me of course, contained powdered donuts, salty potato chips, a pickle, and a warm can of soda pop. Like, I don't think she has rules whatsoever. Dude, you're the luckiest kid alive, Mikey told me. You gotta push this babysitter to the limit. See how far you can go. I plunked the tip of a can of whipped cream into my mouth and filled my face with a glob of white fluff. Yeah, I brought that too. You think? Absolutely, Mikey said. Find this woman's limits. Wanna come over? Can't, Mikey said. My parents know your parents are out of town, and they already told me I shouldn't even bother to ask. Bummer, I said. But at least you'll know that this lady, Miss Wanda Pansuckle, is about to meet her doom. Awesome, Benny. And remember, you're not just doing this for yourself, Mikey said. You're doing this for all kids everywhere. I spent the rest of the afternoon making plans. Wanda Pansuckle had no idea what kind of ride she was in for. When I walked into the house after school, Wanda Pansuckle passed me the phone. Oh, Benjamin, it's your parents. I covered the speaker with my hand. Should I tell them everything is okay? Tell them whatever you want. Was this a trick? I looked around the house. Dirty dishes in the sink, clothes scattered everywhere. I'd forgotten to feed the dog. Things were not okay. Not at all. But that's not what I told my father. Hi, Dad. How's your trip? Yeah, things are fine. Sure, yeah, I'm being a good listener. Of course, I'm keeping up with school. Yep. Hi, Mom. How's your trip? Yeah, things are fine. Yes, Mom, I am being a good listener. Very clean. Not up too late at all. Yep, limiting the TV. Pepper's great. Okay, speak to you tomorrow. Love you too. Bye. I hung up and realized I just told my parents more lies on one phone call than I ever told them in my entire history of my life. What was this Wanda Pansuckle woman doing to me? I passed her the phone. I'm sorry, did you want to talk to them again? I asked. No. I said to fill them in. Nope. Well, I guess you want me to go do my homework right now, if you think. Or maybe clean up some of the mess I made last night, or go feed Pepper or something. Wanda Pansuckle sat down on the couch and opened a book. Up to you. I squinted. This was very suspicious. That's when I had my aha moment. Oh, I get it. She's testing me. Well, let's just see how she likes this. I raced to the kitchen and grabbed a piece of silverware from the drawer. Is it okay if I put this steak knife into the electrical socket? I put the tip of the blade right next to the wall outlet. Wanda Pansuckle casually looked up from her novel. If that's what you'd like to do. I edged the steel tip closer. I wasn't even supposed to handle these kinds of super sharp knives, much less go anywhere near electrocuting myself. I'm gonna do it, I said. Okay. I really am, I told her. On the count of 3, I'm gonna jam it in there. 1. She licked her finger and turned a page. 2, I warned, moving the silver tip right up next to the plug. 2.5, I said real slowly. Wanda Pansuckle didn't budge. 3, I yelled and tensed up all my muscles. Wanda Pansuckle scratched her ear and continued reading her novel, relaxed and at ease. I put the knife down. This woman is an absolute loon, I thought. Time to take this to the next level. Playing with matches. I settled on a lighter when I couldn't find any matches. Is it okay if I set the curtains on fire? I asked with a click of the lighter. I brought the flame oh so close to my mother's favorite drapes. Wall to ceiling, the material extended at least 12 feet, and for sure this kind of fabric had to be flammable. If that's what you want to do this afternoon, Benjamin, sure. Hello? Excuse me. I'm playing with fire right now. Do you need some help? Help? I said, flabbergasted. You're supposed to stop me from... Ouch! The heat from the flame burned my finger, and I decided to go and put the lighter back in the kitchen drawer before I really did something stupid to hurt myself. This woman was clearly using psychology on me. Maybe reverse psychology. Maybe even reverse psychology, the kind they use in the CIA and at the movie theater to try to get you to buy the overpriced popcorn with a large drink and the combo deal that's never worth it. I fed the dog and loaded the dishwasher. I needed a new plan. So, where are we? Mikey asked the next day. Well, I said, popping a chunk of apple in my mouth for lunch. Last night, I'd eaten candy for dinner. So much of it that before I went to bed, I did one of those wet burps that gurgled up a small puddle of vomit in the back of my throat. After 4 days, taking a break from junk food wasn't an option. It was a necessity. The situation is not looking good. I'm losing the battle. Take it to the next level, buddy. The next level? What's that? An R-rated movie. I gasped. An R-rated movie? No way! Then I thought about it. Mikey, you're a genius. I entered the house and asked, can we watch a movie together? Sure, Benjamin, but I want to watch something really scary, I said, giggling to myself. Okay. Some R rated, like really R rated. That's fine. What's the name of it? I paused. I didn't know any R rated movies. I felt stumped. Want me to pick it? Wanda Pansuckle offered. Yeah, I said emphatically, but make sure it's absolutely terrifying. You got it, she said. Should I start it now? Nah, let's watch it after the sun goes down. Scary movies are always better when it's dark. I agree, she said. I went to my room, ditched my homework for the fourth day in a row, a new record for me, and eagerly counted the minutes until the sun sank over the horizon. At 9 o'clock p.m., when it was good and black out, I went downstairs, but not before turning off every light in the house. That'll get her, I thought. Ready? Wanda Pansuckle asked. Ready, I said, stuffing a grape in my mouth. The thought of popcorn made me want to barf. 3 minutes into the movie, I saw a dead person's head spin around. 15 minutes later, I realized the dead person whose head had just spun around wasn't really dead and was outside of a 2-story house that looked kind of like mine. And he was about to cut off the pinky toes of a bunch of giggling teenagers after having escaped from an insane asylum. I couldn't let Wanda see, but I needed to get away from this movie. Far away. And I would have too, but all the lights were turned off, and I was too scared to walk through the dark house all the way back to my room upstairs. Wanda Pansuckle suddenly jumped. Did you hear something? Huh? What? Where? Oh, nothing, she said, relaxing back against the couch. Thought I heard a squeak coming from the upstairs. A squeak, I thought. The head-spinning pinky-toe thief had an artificial leg made of rusty metal that squeaked. I'm getting a little tired, I said, faking a yawn. Maybe we ought to call it a night. Don't you want to watch the end of the film? You know, it's not really all that exciting, I lied. Wanda Pansuckle reached for the remote. It's one of my favorites because usually the bad guy dies at the end of the movie, but in this movie, the bad guy lives. Lives? I said. Well, sure, Wanda Pansuckle replied. It's based on a true story. You can't just change things like that. A true story? Gulp. I reached down and touched my pinky toe just to make sure it was still there. Well, good night, Benjamin. Wanda Pansuckle headed off to the guest bedroom, which, of course, was downstairs. So if you were too scared to walk to your room, where did you sleep? Mikey asked me the next day when I told him all about the movie. On a couch with paper towels for a blanket. What'd you use for a pillow? My shoe. Ooh, rough. You were scared, huh? I told you this Wanda Pansuckle woman is crazy. You still have time to beat her, Mikey assured me. I don't know, I said. I do, Mikey explained. And you must. I have the answer. Oh, yeah? What's that? He looked around and made sure no one else was listening. Cigarettes. Mikey rubbed together his hands and cackled. Ha ha ha, you'll smoke an entire pack. I wrinkled my nose. You'll get her to take you to the store, buy you a pack of smokes, bring you home, and then light you up. This, my friend, is a guaranteed win. He smiled big and proud. So let me get this straight. You want me to get cancer? Mikey didn't answer. And you want me to choke? Also, you want me to smell like an ashtray, pollute my lungs, foul up my parents' whole house, and inhale an entire pack of the worst substance a kid could ever put into his body? You know what the real problem is, Mikey? The real problem is that I've been listening to you. I stormed out of the cafeteria, and when I got home, I did a week's worth of homework in one night in order to turn it all in for at least some sort of school credit. And then I did 2 loads of laundry, washed all the dishes, mopped the kitchen floor, bathed the dog, and even scrubbed the toilets. Gross, right? Well, not to me. For dinner, I had a fresh green salad. For breakfast, I ate a scrambled egg. And for lunch, I packed my own turkey sandwich with a side of sliced apple and an organic fig bar, which I ate far, far, far away from Mikey Lumpkin. When I got home, my parents were just arriving back from Europe. Benny, they exclaimed as we shared lots of hugs. After kisses, gifts, and me offering to help them bring in their luggage, both my mom and dad looked around the house in amazement. Goodness gracious, this place is clean. Thank you, Wanda. Wasn't me, Wanda Pansuckle said. It was all Benjamin. Benny, they squealed at the same time. Mom and Dad looked at one another in shock. I don't believe it. What's your secret? They asked her. Secret? There's no secret. Wanda Pansuckle picked up her suitcase and got ready to leave. Really, I didn't do anything at all. She then walked out the door and left. Thank goodness, I thought. Spending a week with Wanda Pansuckle was absolutely terrifying.